This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach 39 and 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. For the good are good things created from the beginning, so evil things for sinners. The principal thing for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the blood of grapes, and oil and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinners they are turned into evil. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to my elder apostles, elder bishops, elders at Great Millstone that rule well, that teach well, that taught me this truth. Peace, love, and salutation to the Bayaftawadah, which is the host of David, which is the elect. Shalom. Is shalom to your sincere Akim and sincere Akwaf that follow the Lamb wherever it goes. Shalom. This is your brother Yanaga from the Providence, Rhode Island camp, coming back to you again with another video. Right? I got an article queued up and a video queued up. And we're going to just get right into it, man, because again, okay, with these data centers all throughout the four corners of America, Babylon the Great, also known as Babylon the Great, right? These things are absorbing and taxing and, confiscating the resources of the people, man. Okay, electricity, power, and also the water. Okay, so the wicked is using these things for wicked purposes, for wicked reasons, right? When these things could be used to further life, right, on the planet Earth. All right, so real quick before we get that, let's get this. Is a YouTube disclaimer. It says copyright disclaimer on the section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use.
What are the environmental impacts of these data centers?
So it's water consumption. So some data centers can use up to 30 million gallons of water. So they're utilizing all the water from the aquifers, the municipal waters. So people with their own wells are reporting that their wells are running dry. They're having to dig deeper because of these mass amounts of water that these data centers require to stay cool. They have to be cool. And so we're losing our water resources. And it's interesting. Oh, I almost brought this.
We're losing. Where are they putting these? I mean,
so they're.
I mean, I saw the map. I was like, oh, I wonder where I'm going to move to in 10 years because.
Yeah, there's very, very few.
And it doesn't look like there's nowhere to move to.
Well, so.
The whole country's covered.
Correct. And the whole country's almost in a drought restriction.
Well, I mean.
And so you're going to consume more of our water resources to keep these data centers cool.
So yeah, what she said? Okay, she said the country is in a drought, man. Okay? It's in a drought because they're using these data centers to power them, right? To keep them going. They require a substantial amount of water or H2O, right? However you want to put it, right? But again, this is what the devil is doing, man. They're using natural things on the face of the planet Earth to perpetuate wickedness, man. Okay, and these data centers is close to people who have homes, right? They're emitting all types of radiation and frequencies that throw people vibration off, right? So again, it ain't no different from these what they call them 5G towers, right? That send off these frequency and you know what I'm saying? But again, this devil, man, they're up to no good, man. All right, so let me continue real quick.
There's other options. Other countries are looking at other options than just building them in our backyards. And they're literally in people's backyards. They're massive. These things are the size of 20 super Walmarts or more. And you're having to destroy all the trees. They need to be near water. They're looking to be on top of aquifers. They need cooler climates, but you're putting them in hot climates, you're putting them in drought restricted states, which is most of the country at this point, expecting a good outcome. And we're just not going to have it. That's our water sources, and AI has to have water to keep it cool.
I mean, I don't understand how that. I mean, are they putting them in Florida? Then Florida. I mean, I don't know about.
starting
I
to
don't
put
know
'em in
about out west, but
Florida.
Florida. I mean, you can't run your sprinkler. You can't. I
They're
mean,
gonna
you
build
can't even
data
water
centers
your
in Florida.
grass.
Yeah.
You know, they're literally worried. So many people are moving to Florida. They don't even know how the hell they're going to flush the toilets soon.
We're talking millions and millions and millions and trillions of gallons of water.
What size of city uses $30 billion of, or 30 million gallons of water?
That's because these data centers are so massive. It's like
I'm asking, what would the equivalent be? I think I read in the notes it was 50,000 a population, a city with a population
right.
of 50,000 people uses that much.
I saw that. Yeah. I mean, you're talking that these data centers are going to use more water than the world would consume. It's ridiculous.
Now, can you reuse the water?
So you can. So they're wanting to go to more closed cooling systems. And in those closed cooling systems, you still are going to be using chemicals. And here's the thing that I think there's a window here where everybody can rush in before any regulations start. And we're starting to see, now at a federal level, they're looking at regulations. They want to pass regulations. But
Okay, so real quick, that's all I wanted from that clip right there. But going through the comments, right? You got people saying, humans were doing fine without all this technology, right? Because again, the old people want to go back to the nostalgic way of doing things, man. Okay, whether it be hands-on or what I'm saying, hard labor, right? Instead of using your mind, right? Instead of having AI doing all this work, and people are beginning to less use their mind, right? To calculate certain things, man. Okay. No, there's a balance to everything in life. You know what I'm saying? There's a balance to everything in life, but the thing is that AI and technology has become so dependable. Like people are so depend. People don't want to go through the work, go through the process of doing things. They feel like this AI, right, is the easy way out to problems. There's an easy way out to work. There's an easy way out to you know um, they could have them do more thinking for them. Okay. So again, this thing has become uh uh dependent. AI has been, people are dependent on AI to do all types of things, man. Technology in general to do all these things, man. All right. But now the Lord is going to create, you know that paradigm shift to where people are going to yearn and go back to the natural way of doing things, man. All right. So hey, man, we're here, man. It says back in the 80s, it was known that major wars will erupt over water. These AI centers are going to push us past the limit. Yep. Okay. This country is so messed up after data centers that we require water for drinking and bathing, right? That, like I read in the book of Sirach, right? The principal thing for the whole use of man's life, man. Okay, they using it for wickedness, man. They're not using it for righteousness, man. Okay, just like I said, get rid of data centers. It says, let me see, where it says we are in the express lane to an all AI surveillance police state. That's right. Okay, this place is becoming a police state now. They have they're building like flock cameras, right? Flock cameras to tag people and watch people every move, right? Watch people every whereabouts, tracking and tracing people, right? So hey, man, if this ain't if America, aka Babylon the Great, is not a police state, I don't know what is, man. This is the definition of a police state, man. All right. So you see it, man. Okay, the abomination that causes desolation. See, people is quoting scriptures from the Bible, man. Okay, because the Bible is the only book that has that divinity in it. right? They says the U.S. government is apparently doing everything it can to harm their own sinistry, crushing their future, right? They don't care about people, man. See, just like I said it right here. Can't make this up, right? We cannot speak loudly enough about this catastrophe that is being forced upon us. It says data centers and flock cameras need to be level across our country. Okay, they got it all across, everywhere, man. Watching people whereabouts, right, on different types of streets, different type of industrial places, right. This place is a police state. The government really want us to get violent, right? Okay. Why don't they send? Okay. So there you have it, man. Okay. There you have it. So going back, I got an article real quick queued up. Let's get that article. Slovakia. Let's see what we got. All right. This is from Global Society World News, right? It says right here, AI data centers are testing the limits of power and water system, right? It says, jumping down, it says, artificial intelligence data centers are becoming a new source of concentrated demand for electricity cooling and grid capacity. The pressure does not arise from artificial intelligence alone, since data centers also support cloud service, streaming, finance, and everyday digital activity, right? Because this is what they use it for, man, right? Which ultimately it is to store data on you, on you, man. Okay, you have your phone, okay, where your algorithm, right? You have different types of algorithm that centers around your thought process, man. What you thinking, what you watching, okay, what are you listening to, the different types of music, okay, what type of if you're conservative person or you're a liberal person, right? If you're a pacifist, if you're a type of person that just love war, right? They're storing up data on you, human. This is what the data centers are for, man. Okay, storing up data on you, man. All right. It says, yet the rapid deployment of specialized chips for training and operating AI models is raising the power density of facilities and accelerating construction in locations where electricity network and water supplies may already be constricted, right? Just like what the woman was saying. Okay, they're putting data centers in places where it's already a drought, of water, right? So destroying the environment, destroying, right, the habitat that the animals have to, live in, man. Okay, and this is the reason why by them doing this is gonna push the animals more and more into the environment of human society, man. Okay, this is the reason why the scripture talk, going down. Okay, when we read that in Sirach, right, 39, it goes down about, okay, spirits created for vengeance, man. Okay, these animals and beasts, right? These things are going to get at people, man, because now they're sharing the same habitat with the human society, man, and humans and animals, right? Not on this side, they can't coexist. Okay, this is the reason why they has the wilderness out there for them and here for us. Okay, but again, okay, they're destroying, right, these forests. They're destroying, okay, places where animals need to live to store up these data centers, right? And just continue to keep polluting the place, man. Continue to keep wrecking. Matter of fact, what's our scripture? Let's get that real quick. Proverbs 29:2. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn, man. And not only the people, but the animals too, man. The animals are mourning, right? The animals are being chased out of their habitat, right? To being pushed further into a habitat where people already exist, man. Okay. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of dares, right? I've been seeing a lot of dares, lately, right? Coexisting in the habitat of people backyard, okay, people front yard, right? And damn near, you know, on the highways and freeways, man. Okay, because they're being pushed from their habitat. Okay, Esau, Edom, they cut down these trees, right? Which these trees are used for oxygen, right? To help us breathe, right? It brings a sense of peace and therapeutic, therapeutic peace, right? To life itself, man. Okay, but they're cutting down these trees and they're setting up these technological data centers all across America, right? These things are, they're using these things for wickedness, man, right? Jumping back, it says here, the issue is no longer limited to environmental performance of individual buildings. Large clusters can require new substations, transmission lines, power plants, and water infrastructure, right? Because if you remember that movie, Matrix Revelation or Revolution, right? When you look, you see like different types of how the way how the movie is like is all different types of like, you know, electronical technology and everything like that. All throughout the movie, itself, man. You got the people, the poor living on the ground, right? So again, man, hey, man, it's no difference, man. It's no difference. It says their arrival may affect household bills, right? So they're gonna go up on the electricity bill. It says in industrial access to electricity, local planning and timing of climate commitment. Okay, the climate, man. Okay, the climate. These things are changing the climate, man. Okay, it says the central question is whether data centers growth can be aligned with energy and water security rather than treated as a separate technical matter. Demand is growing faster than the wider power system. The International Energy Agency projects that global data centers' electricity consumption could more than double to around 945 terawatts hours by 2030. It says in this base case, right? So they're planning on increasing, right, the terawatts, right? The terawatts, right, by 2030, man. So they're planning on creating more and more and more data centers, man. Okay, consuming more and more electricity and power and more water, man. Okay, so it says just under 3% of global electricity use. This is a projection rather than a guaranteed outcome, and the range depend on AI adoption, hardware efficiency, right? It says utilization utilization rates and the pace of new construction. Even so, the expected annual growth is far faster than electricity demand in most other sectors. Okay. Amen. So let me continue, keep reading, because they're planning on increasing, they're planning on expanding, they're planning on, when Esau, Edom get the whole summary of this lesson is, Esau, Edom, when he gets his hand on the things that the Heavenly Father created, man, he turned them into wicked, man. He turned them into evil, man. All right. He poisoned everything, man. He poisoned everything. He pollutes everything. Everything that he touched, he kills, man. He deletes, man. All right. It says the national and local effort can be much larger than the global percentage, suggests the United States Department of Energy drawing on research by Lawrence Berkeley National Labor Laboratory reported that the data centers uses approximately 4.4% of the United States electricity in 2023 and could account for an indicative 6.7 to 12% by 2028. Okay, we in 2026. Yeah. In the next 2 years, man. Increase, man. It says such growth can be especially difficult when projects are concentrated in a few metropolitan regions and compete for the same grid connection. Okay, so it's a lot to read, but I'm gonna leave the link in the description box. Okay, see it right here. Okay, AI data centers are testing the limits of power and water system, man. Okay, efficiency gain real, but rebound remain. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this link in the description box. Okay, Lord willing, okay, those of you who are, tuning in are edified, right? So let's get some scriptures real quick. Let's get some scriptures. This is Isaiah chapter 24. Isaiah chapter 24 and 4, and it reads, it says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The hardy people of the earth do languish. Okay, let's look up this word languish real quick. So let me look it up on the etymology. Languish, right? Languish, right? It says early 14th century, fail in strength, exhibit signs of approaching death, man. Okay, people are being sick, right? People are being, with these data centers emitting those radiations and frequency, right? The water sources and the power sources are being depleted, right? Poison in the food, poison in the water, the air, right? Everything is being, like it says here, exhibit signs of approaching death, man. Languish, people languish and fadeth away, man. Okay, so you get the point. It says, verse 5, the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant, man. Okay, going into daylight savings, right? Talking about daylight savings, that the time got to be sent back an hour, fucking up people's circadian rhythm, right? This is what the devil is doing, man. Okay, this is what they're doing, man. They're fucking with people's health, man. All right. Everything on the shelf in the grocery stores, the holistic food, the vegetables, the provision, all of these things are on recall. But you know what's not on recall? The sweets, right? The candies, the sugary sweets, everything that's, that can fuck up your whole life, man. These things are still on the shelf, right? Those things are not being recalled, but the holistic food, the lettuce, the tomato, the mango, strawberries, berries, whatever, man. These things all have a recall every single day, man. Every single month that pass by, man. Okay, so again, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant, man. All right. When the Heavenly Father created everything here on the face of the planet Earth, these things were created to extend and prolong mankind's life, man. All right? Not to shorten, not to hyphen mankind's life, man. I was just reading one of the lessons from the elder Mawatazak Bangad, okay, out there in LA, right? How he was going into how Esau Edom is sterilizing the population, man, in particular you Jakes, man, by the way of that vaccination, man, that snake piss, man. Okay, sterilizing people, man, to not bring forth life, man. All right. So again, man, this mad scientist, this devil, the wicked, man, he has to go, man. The earth needs no management, man. The scriptures say, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. It says, verse 6, Isaiah 24:6. Therefore had the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left, man. Okay, people are waning, man. People are just dying off in mass amount of numbers, which goes back to their agenda, right? When you look up the Georgia Guidestone, right, talking about maintaining humanity under a specific amount of people, man. Okay, they want to be able to manage a specific amount of people, man, here on the face of the planet Earth, man. Okay, and by deleting them and killing them off is by way of what? Culling. Let's look up that word, culling. Culling. To cull, right? it says, Slovakia. Let's jump down real quick. It says, known, it says in the 1610s, a selection, something picked out, okay, from 1791 as flock animals selected as inferior, man. Okay, and what do those small hats, those tiny tops call us, man? Call them goyim, man, sheep, man. Okay, goyim, sheep, right? That's what they say, man. They view us as inferior to them, man. All right. It says flock animals selected as inferior, 1958, as a killing of animals deemed inferior, man. All right. So there you have it, man. Okay, jumping back up. It says meaning selective livestock according to quality from 1889. Notion of select and kill animals, usually in the name of reducing overpopulation, man. See, going back to that Georgia Guidestone, that they want to maintain humanity under a certain particular amount of number, man, so they can be able to manage the population, man. All right. So yeah, man. That's all I had, for today. Lord willing, those of you who are edifying, okay, who are tuning in, watching and listening and learning and writing out these scriptures as well, right? So with that, praying for the hopeful elect men, women, and children out there that seeking Yahawashi in truth and sincerity. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Rakakodash. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.